please do make use of this chat box. Do you want to just do, are you doing the slide? Sorry. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So just a bit of housekeeping. Do use the chat box. I think last time I did get told off because I got a bit carried away with the chat box and we were running over time. But yeah, please do share and talk to each other as well, and let's get some learning going on in there. Likewise, my webinars are really interactive. And as Liz said, the more that you put in, the more that you'll get out. So let's just have a really interactive and session now. For the next 45 minutes, let's just focus on our learning, which is what we're here to do. So the next bit is our gem. I understand that so many of us do get a bit overwhelmed when we come on things like this. So instead of trying to implement everything, just focus on that one gem of information that you're really going to have a go at and practice. If you think back to when you learnt to read or swim or ride a bike, you had to practice something over and over again. This is no different. So pick that one thing that you think, actually, for the next 90 days, I'm going to have a go at that and implement it. And I'd love to know what that gem is later on at the end, if that's all right. Right then, a bit about me. I'm sure a lot of you have actually been on some of my webinars. Just out of interest, just to get the chat going, how many of you have actually been on one of my webinars before? Let's just get this chat going. Yeah, yes or no in the chat, just so I know who's here. Yes, 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 a few yeses. Some no's, fantastic, some new people and some familiar people, which is lovely. Well, welcome back to everybody who's been on one before, and welcome to all the people that are new. Just to give you a bit of information about what I do, my name is Barbara Nixon, and I'm here to develop managers and leaders and to help you be the very best boss you can be and get the most out of your team and yourself. I do this through one-to-one coaching. I do it through management development programs, online training and e-courses. So if you're interested in that, come on over to barbaranixon.co.uk and spend some time with me. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So before I talk about what managers' demons are, let's have a bit of some chat going on about what your managers' demons are. So let's start putting that up on the chat, and then I can talk to you through what we're going to be covering. So when you hear the word managers' demons, what is it that comes to mind? What are you struggling with? Let's have a bit of chat going on. Just give you a minute just to start scribbling away. Yeah, we've got negative thoughts, self-doubt, overall limiting beliefs. Yeah. Let you do a bit of typing. Self-confidence. Finding time to manage people, having to manage what they consider HR issues. Think about how you're adding value. Great ones coming up. Keep typing away and I'll come back to that. Now this subject's come about because over the years I've been coming across more and more managers who are experiencing one or more of the following. And you've got those on the slides in front of you. So being afraid to make a decision or dithering over a decision where something that should have taken 2 minutes takes a whole morning whilst you mull it over and over in your mind. Okay, so you might have actually been able to do something quite quickly before and all of a sudden you start dithering over it. Having self-doubts where you didn't have any before. Now these could have been something that you might have previously been quite confident in. You might be worried over being found out. By this I mean that for some reason you feel fraudulent and that you either don't deserve the job or that you can't really do it. And you can't pinpoint why you feel fraudulent, but you realise that emotion that's going on with you. You're worried about conversations that you've had with people and whether you've handled the situation correctly. And all of a sudden you're having limiting beliefs. And I think some of you have actually put that up on there. You've got self-doubt on there as well. So you think that a good piece of work that you've delivered was just a fluke and you couldn't ever repeat it. Does that sound familiar? I know we've got some self-doubts up there. We've got avoiding what they perceive to be harder people issues. We've got finding time to manage people. We've got self-confidence. Yeah, so quite a few recurring things coming up over and over again. Now for today's webinar, my voice is croaky today. For today's webinar, we're going to be calling these feelings managers' demons because they do crop up all the time. So if you are feeling this, and because you're here, you are all feeling this, You are definitely not alone. There has been so much research done on this topic, but just speaking from a personal experience, as I mentioned earlier, these are conversations that I've been having over and over again as I first started working with managers right from the beginning of my career. And I've worked with a lot of managers. So please don't think that it's because you're doing something wrong or because there's something wrong with you. It's perfectly normal emotions. And throughout this workshop, we're going to be having a good look about why we get them in the first place. And we'll also have a look at what we can start to do about it. Yeah, fantastic. So let's get back to these demons. For some reason, these feelings affect a lot of managers. You might have previously been quite confident and self-assured, then all of a sudden you might find yourself questioning your ability and thinking too much about what other people think of you. You might even find yourself being quite confused about feeling this way, especially if out of work you're still a confident person. Anyone feel like that? That in work you're not as confident as you are outside of work? I'll keep talking if you can just keep, talking in the chat. Yeah, just put yes or no in the chat. Now the thing here is that these feelings, these managers' demons that we have, can be quite disconcerting. You might have been going along fine and they catch you off guard, which could knock your confidence and make you feel quite a bit vulnerable. You might also find it a bit harder to shake off these feelings and get back on track and find motivating yourself that bit trickier. You might also find that these feelings rear their head when you're least expecting it. You might have something new to do, you might have been given a promotion or some other responsibility, or you might just need to be at the top of your game before a big presentation when you need to impress people, and then wham, you feel as though you're just not worthy, that you're living a lie, and that someone any day now is going to know the truth and march up to your desk and ask what on earth you think you're playing at, that you can't actually do the job at all. Does that sound familiar? If so, I want to get down to my first real question. What is it that you're actually afraid of when you find yourself faced with these feelings? So what is it that you're actually afraid of when you're faced with these feelings? And I'll just give you a second to have a think and put your answers in the chat box. Failure, yeah. Failing, that you're not good enough, losing your job, yeah. Not being good enough, getting it wrong. Yeah, not feeling valued. So these are things that I see time and time again, that you just feel like you're afraid of failure, that you're afraid of getting it wrong. What if other people don't like what you do? What if you can't actually do it? What if it's wrong? What will other people think of you? Feelings like these are really not surprising considering the amount of work and responsibility that you have as managers. Each day you are expected to deliver results, manage teams, yeah, and all the varied problems that you've got going on at the same time. Yeah, fantastic. So that you could be managing projects, you could be managing budgets, you could be giving feedback, managing development, managing day-to-day tasks, managing your time effectively. You've got to worry about delegating, empowering, motivating, perhaps writing and delivering presentations, creating high-level reports, auditing, and so much more. I am literally scratching the surface here. What I have mentioned is a drop in a swimming pool, which is why I love working with managers so much, because your positions are so varied. But you're expected to deliver all of this whilst behaving in a confident and professional manner, all the while impressing your own manager and behaving in a manner that's befitting of your position. No wonder you start to question yourself from time to time. So with that in mind, I want to give you permission to just realise how much you do get done, how much value you do add, and go easy on yourself. I want you to recognise that you are doing a fantastic job, and just by being aware of where you are right now is a great first step. Okay, my next question is, when do these feelings tend to rear their ugly head? What is it that you're doing that kickstarts these feelings? So have a think. If you're feeling them at certain times, it might be certain times of day, or you might be doing a certain task, what is it that's actually triggering these feelings from what you've realised about yourself? So we've got when given a tight deadline, so you're under pressure, okay. When you're stepping out of your comfort zone. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear you. Yeah, so are you waking up at 2 o'clock and then, or are you still awake, or is it because you can't sleep? When you're in a new situation, just having a look. When you're faced with more senior or experienced managers, yeah. You're already awake, but you start thinking about the day, yeah. When you're under pressure, you're more, when you're speaking to more senior managers, again, when you get conflicting responses, I'm assuming that's from other people in terms of what you've done. Yeah, I got that, yeah, about it being more senior. Yeah, don't worry. When you're faced with a difficult situation, when you have difficult staff to deal with, yeah, when you're out of your comfort zone. So a lot of recurring things actually are coming up. So thank you so much for sharing those answers. Now, there might be as well other times then that you're seeing these feelings cropping up. It might be when a lot of you have said speaking to senior managers and directors. It might be when you're doing something like a telephone call to a senior manager and all of a sudden you feel a bit nervous about it. When you're making a decision, I think a few of you have said that from what, just scrolling up the chat. Or you might find actually doing a presentation or things are actually just whirring round and round in your head. So just by being aware of these feelings and when you actually get these feelings, that's a really good step. And often you might find that you start feeling these demons, if you like, over things that you never worried about before. And now all of a sudden you might spend ages plucking up the courage to do something really simple, like maybe even just sending an email. You might spend ages reading and rereading it if it's going to a senior manager or if it's about, going to a lot of key stakeholders. You might even put it into your drafts while you think about it some more. And doing things like this and dithering or feeling nervous and under pressure might start to really frustrate the hell out of you, as it could have been a 5-minute job and now it's taken all day. And then the positive side of your brain is telling you it's fine, just get on with it, you're okay, but for some reason you can't. But like I said earlier, you are really not alone. When Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes coined the phrase imposter syndrome back in the 80s, they discovered that there were a lot of high-achieving people who felt in a similar way. And like I said, that this phrase, imposter syndrome, has been around for a long time, and there's a lot of research that's been done about it. So if you want to read up on it, there's loads that you can Google it. And they found that in their time they were doing some research on high-performing women, but they found that there's been feelings like, I feel like a fake, I really don't belong, and I'm going to get found out. But in fact, a lot of high-achieving men and women feel like this all the time. And like the slide says, even Maya Angelou felt like that. She said, I've written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're going to find me out now. I've run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. So you're in really, really good company, which, as it happens, is a great way of starting to overcome these feelings, to get support from other people and to talk about how you feel. Because you might have struggled on alone in the past, but if you mention it to other people, you'll actually be quite surprised at just how many people are feeling the same way. And it's another great reason why attending sessions like this one is such a good place to be. Now, another good starting point is to be very aware of your feelings. Now, you've already done this because you're here and you recognise that you want to change how you feel, which is great. But when you find yourself thinking or feeling this way back in the workplace, maybe because it's been triggered by something that you've already mentioned, just have a go at taking a sense check and being aware of it for a minute. Thinking about why you feel this way just before you try and shrug it off and move on. So have a go at really being aware of that emotion and thinking about why you feel that way before moving on. Doing this could actually help, especially if you've got into a habit of feeling a certain way when you're doing a specific task. So let's take a minute to just step back, because one of the common management demons is not feeling good enough, and I know a couple of you have mentioned that earlier on. So before we go on, I want us to take a look at what we're great at. One of the best ways to start to overcome these feelings is to understand what you bring to the party. What skills do you bring to your role? Why were you even selected for your role in the first place? So let's do this now. Just a very quick exercise. I want you to write a list of just 3 things, just 3 skills that you bring to your role. And I want you to stay positive. Try not to think about it too much, so the first 3 things that pop into your head that are positive. So don't say things like, I was the only person to apply and nobody else wanted the job. So stay positive. I want 3 skills that you bring to the party. Oh, it's fine. I'll just wait for you to do that. Enthusiasm, positivity, approachable, organised, caring. Just give you another few seconds to... What else? Got busy typing up there, which is good. Du, du, du. Oh, is there? Yeah. Right, okay, I'll keep talking. Once we've been successful in getting that new role, we often forget why we were selected in the first place, but this is really worth remembering. I'm just looking at the chat at the same time, so just bear with me. I'm at a loss. Okay, well this might be a good exercise for you to do. Good timekeeping in terms of have a think yourself then. Even if your manager doesn't think they know why you got hired, you think about it yourself just for the purpose of this exercise. So 3 things that you think that you bring to the role. Approachable as well, which is fun. Lots of approachable people, which is great. So yeah, having a think about why you were selected in the first place is really worth remembering. Even if you're not actually sure, you can think of these yourself because this is what other people do see in you. These are the positives. They didn't have to give you the job. They didn't owe you anything. It is a dog-eat-dog world and the job could have easily have gone to somebody else, but it didn't. It went to you. You beat all the other people to the post and won because of the things that you've done in the past, because of your behaviours, your personality and your skills, and because of your potential. These are what other people saw in you, and this is what you should remind yourself of whenever you need to. So take your list, and later on, when you've got time, get yourself a cuppa and add to it to make at least 10 things, and put it somewhere that you can access when you need that bit of a reminder. Now, the next step in this exercise is to have a think of 3 things that you've achieved since being in the role. So we've done 3 things that you bring to the party, 3 things that you've actually achieved in the role. Now, I'm absolutely positive that you've achieved more than 3 things, but we've got to start somewhere, and we've not got all day. But these are the things that I want you to nail down that you're most proud of. Again, don't think too much about it. Just have a go, and if you feel like putting it in the chat box, that would be fantastic. You've built relationships, brilliant. I love that you're supporting each other in the chat. Well done, do more of that, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. That you're more confident. I'll just give you a minute. You've done loads, developed management training, developed HR databases, you've built relationships. you've done an assessment at recruitment, you're dealing with team members, you've done appraisals, you've managed difficult merger. Well, we've got a lot of talented people on this webinar, which is brilliant. So look at all the fantastic things that we've done. And use this, do this again after this webinar. So go back and really have a good think about all the things that you're proud of and all the things that you've achieved since you've been in the role. Because remembering the good things that you've achieved is a fantastic thing to do. These are things that you're really proud of, and do look down the list and be proud. Don't find yourself thinking that they were a stroke of luck or because someone gave you a hand. Think of them as things that you've done that you can really hang your hat on, and start having that belief in your own ability and to trust what we can do. Because often we do a project and we'll finish it, and then we'll find ourselves moving on to the next one without actually being proud and reflecting about all the great work that we've done. So do start a habit of just making a note of the things that you've achieved and things that you're really proud of, and keep that somewhere that you can look at when you're feeling like you've got a manager's demon just striking. So we've got I'm just looking again at the fantastic things that you've done. You've got managing difficult teams, learn new skills in project management, sustainability. That's brilliant ones. Well done. Respected by peers. You've got trust. Some brilliant ones there. So like I said, a good tip is to start an achievement diary. So yeah, if you've not got your gem yet, that might be something that you want to do afterwards and really focus on for the next 90 days. So let's look at some quick tips to help shrug off these demons. The first one is to focus on why you're doing what you're doing. In every single task that you do in your role, there's a reason to doing it, a purpose, a why. By focusing on this reason, you'll distract yourself on the fact that it's you that's actually doing it. So let me explain. If, for example, you need to phone a director, I know some of you up there have mentioned speaking to senior managers or directors is something that you might get a bit nervous about. So you might need to phone them to discuss something specific. The why could be that the director needs to know about something in order for something else to happen. It doesn't actually matter that it's you calling them. You could put yourself in the messenger box. What matters is that the director gets this information. Does that make sense? So let me give you another example. You might have to do a presentation in front of some key stakeholders, and you might be feeling a bit nervous. Even though you might have actually done this several times before, for some reason you're doubting yourself this time. So instead of focusing on what you're doing, so it's you standing in front of some important people and feeling vulnerable and exposed, focus instead on the message, focus on the service, focus on the why. They just want you to give them the message in a way that's understood. That's it. By focusing on the reason you're doing a specific task, you'll be able to just get the job done. Make sense? Okay. Tip number 2 is stop comparing yourself to other people. How many of you actually compare yourself to other people on a day-to-day basis or on a regular basis? Yep. Yes, just yeses all the way down. Yeah, so it never comes out good. Yeah, I know. It's something that we do, isn't it? Are these people at work? Are they people at work, or are they in senior positions, or are they people, high-profile people that you read and you follow on the web somewhere, or are they just people that you went to school with, as peers? Yeah, peers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So peers all the way down. It is. Yeah, both colleagues, friends, yeah, Facebook, yeah. It is quite common, especially now we're surrounded by social media, and we are seeing other people show reels on a regular basis, but by comparing yourself, you're not actually being fair to them or to you. And secretly, you actually know this. And my mum used to say something which kind of stuck with me. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. And for all you know, they could be looking at you and thinking the exact same thing, especially if they're peers at work or the people that you've got on Facebook. So by all means, look around and learn from other people. If they're great at something, learn from them, but don't try to emulate them or compare yourself to them by putting them on a pedestal and at the same time belittling yourself. It is a road to nowhere. Instead, when you find yourself in comparison hell, just try smiling, wishing them well, and cracking on with your own journey. And this is going to be a habit changer, really, because you've got into a habit of comparing yourself to other people. 'Cause you all said, yep, there's other people at work. And at the bottom you said your perception of how they are might not be reality. Absolutely. That it might not be the real deal, or you're just picking out, your brain's picking out what you want to see. So instead, for the next 90 days, if your gem might be, when you find yourself doing that, just smile, wish them well, say well done, in your own head, and then move on and crack on with your own journey. Okay. So tip, let me just have a, so, but we are taught this as kids. I remember my mum saying, why wasn't I like the other little girls? I was a bit of a tomboy. Yeah, so there's some conditioning that's gone on there in terms of what you've grown up with. But just because your mum used to say that, and just because, that's something that you're brought up with, doesn't mean to say that it fits you right now. Right now you can make a decision whether if that works for you or if it doesn't. So yeah, we've all got kind of baggage that we take with us as we're growing up. And I can understand what you're saying there. Okay. So tip number 3 is stop worrying what other people think of you as well. Does anybody worry about what other people might think of you? I've just caught that. It says, this is all women with issues. Is it the same for men? Yeah, it is the same for men. Certainly in my experience, I don't see a gender split in terms of this, what we're talking about today. I've certainly seen the same issues coming up for men and women, and I'm sure we've got boys on the webinar that can relate as well. So I'm just scrolling down. Sorry, if I go quiet, it's because I'm trying to catch up as the chat box is rolling up. Aha. So you stop worrying about other people. So right, I've caught up with you now. Always, yes. So it's another one like comparing yourself to other people. So let me share this quote that caught my eye. A day of worry is more exhausting than a day of work. When I saw that, I could really relate and think, absolutely, this is really true. When you do spend a day worrying, you feel absolutely shattered at the end of the day. It is so easy to get caught up with wondering what other people will think that we forget to think about what we want to do or what's the right thing to do. So again, give yourself a break from analysing the thoughts of others. It takes a lot of time and energy and is really quite rarely true anyway. So instead focus on your own path and your own journey. What they think of you, and I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, is actually none of your business. So again, this is a habit that you're going to have to work at to shake off. So just be aware when you're doing this and just wish them well and move on with your own journey. I think you're right in terms of women more open to expressing their feelings. Yeah, I think I just wanted to capture that phrase at the bottom, that comment at the bottom rather. Yeah, okay. I'm just having a look at the chat, so just bear with me. Yeah, you're worried about other people thinking of you. Fantastic. Well, it's not fantastic, but fantastic that we've captured it. So tip number 4 is you catch yourself dithering. Anyone do this? Who's become a ditherer just because of the demons that they're facing? Let's see. So by dithering, I mean that you might have something quite simple and easy to do, but you find yourself going over and over it rather than just getting it done and moving on. So it might be sending an email, it might be making a phone call, it might be having a meeting with your boss. Anyone? Yeah, easier to dither than just do it. Yeah, looking at every minutia of every email. Yeah. When that happens, just ask yourself what's the very worst thing that could happen. Chances are it's really not going to, because you've done this several times before. We've all sent emails and we've all done, made phone calls. So if it's a simple everyday task that you're dithering over, just ask yourself, what's the very worst that could happen? Why is it this that's causing me a problem now? And just, I know it's easy for me to say, but just get it done anyway, because By dithering, it can take the form of just another way of procrastinating, and you can actually force a habit by dithering over something. So just think about what's the worst that could happen and get it done anyway. You might want to, after this webinar, just have a think about the things that you've started dithering over, so whether it's emails, phone calls, or whatever it is for you. And put a bit of a reminder on a post-it somewhere on your desk that you can just glance at. So whenever you find yourself in that position, or whenever you recognise those habits that you're doing, you're demonstrating, just glance over at your post-it to motivate yourself to do it. Right, tip number 5 is find your cheerleaders. Now, this is quite a good one to do because it's so easy to find yourself surrounded by negative people. As J.K. Rowling said, I think she called them dementors, people that take things away from you. So they sap you of your energy. They sap you of any kind of positive feeling that you've got. Anyone in that place at the minute where they feel surrounded by negative people? So a good example of these people, pardon? Oh yeah, that's a really good one. I love it. Yeah, dream stealers. Yeah, that's where you are right now. Yeah, every day. Yeah, you've got a few close to you. Yeah. So a good example of these people are, if it's a lovely sunny day, they'll tell you that tomorrow it's raining. You know the type of person. Be aware of who you choose to spend your time with. So it might be the people that you're spending lunch with, it might be the people that you socialise with outside of work, and just have a think, are they positive or negative people? Do you find yourself being energised by them or being drained? And surround yourself with cheerleaders. Make a real conscious effort to attract your cheerleaders and kind of seek them out. These are the positive people that radiate energy, that want to see you succeed and are great to be around. They could be people that you don't actually think of. Don't have a choice as I work with them. Yes, well, there might be that you people that you socialise with and hang out with outside of work, or you network with, might be your cheerleaders. So if you obviously work in a room full of negative people, you can't do much about that, but you can do something about the people that you hang around with. And you can also do something about what you take from them in terms of their advice and their motivation or lack of. Yeah, somebody said, I found someone outside of my department. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be somebody at work. You can look at networking groups, you can look at people that you socialise with, or just people that you hang around with on social media. So just to kind of look out for those cheerleaders. And you might be surprised at who ends up being your cheerleader, because sometimes it can be people that you least expect. Okay, so tip number 6 is grab some me time. Now, this is probably something that I think we're all guilty of. I know that we're all busy and that our days are chock-a-block back to back. However, get into the habit of booking out some time for yourself. Now, that could be, I don't know, an hour on a Friday afternoon to read a blog. It could be to listen to a webinar. It's coming to stuff like this, which is great. Yeah, I'm just looking at, I've got 3 dogs, they're never negative. Yeah, I love that. I've got a dog, she's never negative either. So it could be that you want to spend your weekend doing something just for you, or make sure, a small thing could be just to take your lunch every day, even if it's for 30 minutes. By doing that, you'll be giving your brain a well-deserved rest. You'll find yourself being more alert, you'll find yourself being more productive, and you'll probably feel so much better and be able to think more clearly too. Okay? And my final tip, number 7, is to keep going anyway. And I know you're going to look at this and laugh, but as I mentioned earlier, you are in really good company. It is actually all right to feel this way, and you're feeling this way because you've got pride in your work, because you care about what you do, because you want to progress, because it actually matters to you. And you've got to a position where you've earned the right to feel this way. You're in great company with a lot of high-achieving people who all feel the same. and it's really worth remembering not to let it stop you from achieving. You got the job that you're in because you were aiming for it. If you're aiming for something else now, just keep going and don't let these feelings stop you. Because when you step outside your comfort zone, you start, that feeling is just you stretching as well and developing yourself. So don't be afraid of that. Okay, so those are my 7 tips. Has anyone got any questions? Whilst you're putting your questions up, I'd also like you to think back to that one gem that we talked about earlier, and don't overwhelm yourself. Think about something that just one thing that you're going to focus on for the next 90 days, and then you can always move on to the next thing. But just for the next 90 days, this is going to be a habit for you, and I'd love to know what that is. I'll just give you a few seconds to put that up on there. Right, what have we got here? We've got focus on the why. Brilliant. These are your gems. Stop comparing yourself to others. Yeah, just be aware of that feeling. Then just wish them well and move on. And it is just going to be a habit that you're going to have to change. But just you've got to start somewhere. Just start today. An achievement diary, that really worked for me. Yeah, buy a notebook that's especially for your achievements, and just scribble down every time you've done something. And it doesn't have to be big things. It can be really small things as well, or something you think is tiny. Just, yeah, put it down. Be different and proud of it. I love that. Well done. I love that. Feeling more positive about yourself. Taking a lunch break. Absolutely. Take your lunch break. If you can, step outside, just get some fresh air. I know this weather that we've been having, you think, oh, I don't want to go outside, but at least even if you stand at the door and get some fresh air. For the next 90 days, you'll focus on timekeeping and ignoring dementors. Brilliant. Love that. Love that. Stop comparing. Yeah. Oh, what did you put? My child has wow moments in cards that I have to fill in for them. Oh, I like that. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Yeah, that's such a brilliant idea. I'm going to borrow that myself. So they do that from school? Yeah, do it at school, yeah. Love, love, love that. Right, we're all going to do what Lizzie's school does. We're going to have wow moments for ourselves. Stick it up on post-it notes around your, I don't know, around your kitchen, on your fridge or something. Yeah, we all like that idea. You should have told me that at the beginning. I'd have put it. What else have we got? I love these gems. They're brilliant. Focus on the why. Think about the outcomes I want to achieve. Fantastic. So if I send you all a note in 90 days and see how you're getting on, I'm hoping that you'll all be doing great things. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, so you'll be doing fantastic things. Before we finish up, Liz and I were just having a chat about what the next webinar is going to be next year. Probably end of February, March time when I'm going to be coming back. And the last time I was here, I had a lot of people asking for some things around time management. So there's a very quick poll. What aspects of time do you struggle most with that you'd like to see in the next webinar? So I've just thought of delegating, empowering people, focusing on your to-do list, micromanaging, or there might be something else, in which case let me just tick more than one, tick as many as you like. That'd help, and I will design the webinar to suit what you guys want. But thank you so much for today. I've really enjoyed myself. I'm delighted with all your gems, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic Christmas, everyone. See you later. Bye. Thanks, Barbara. I am now being tested on my multi-skilled ability. Okay, so thank you everyone for this absolutely brilliant feedback there. I really enjoyed that myself. I'm
looking forward to putting some wow cards up on our walls here at work. Before we go, we've got another couple of seconds just to let you know we've got 2 more webinars to take us through till Christmas. Next week we've got John Rice talking about how to conduct effective 360-degree feedback, and the week after we've got the final one, which was redundancy and the law, which I thought was quite pertinent, whether you should make people redundant before or after Christmas. So please join us at one of those, and that's what we've got published at the moment. But after Christmas, which we'll be back in full force on the 5th, I've got a full lineup. Barbara will be back in, as you said, a sort of late February, early March, and I hope you can join us then. So we'll keep you updated, and if you need to get in touch or you'd like to get in touch and have a conversation, then please do so. Our details are up on the screen now. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Very good.